Hello. Greetings to all of you. Hello, ma'am. How are you? And we are here standing in front of State House. We're making our way to stand, the house that is owned by the people of Guyana, State House, um, to voice our concern. We're standing here as very concerned citizens of this country to deal with this matter regarding the report, not the first one, but multiple reports of sexual impropriety by someone who serves in the administration. We're standing here so that this can reach Irfan Ali in his capacity as president of this country, who appoints the cabinet as president of this country. We're standing to have him remove Dharmlal, first of all, from the cabinet. This is our concern. It's highly concerning to us. So as you join, let me know whether you can see, you can hear clearly, please, so that this can be registered, that we are standing here today registering our protest. There's a father here with me, there's a mother here with me, and there are others who are soon to join me. I told you we'd start at 3 o'clock, and 3 o'clock it is. But we are standing here because we are extremely concerned about the course of events that surround this report. We are not standing here today. I am not standing here today to say that we know the facts. We're standing here to say that based on what was presented to us, we are highly concerned because this is too wrong. As Guyanese, we should never have a case in which it is reported that someone reached out to the head of state for help based on sexual abuse. And that person says that when they get the evidence together, then they're going to act. No. The job of the head of state of this country, Irfan Ali's job, check and turn and face here. Irfan Ali's job in this building owned by us behind you here, his job is not to investigate anything. I never knew that according to the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, that a president has authority to investigate any crime or to wait for there to be the outcome of an investigation to say that a minister should be removed from office. It's called interdicted. You remove the person, you don't function until this matter is resolved. We're here to protest because this child, the circumstances surrounding which the reports have changed can't work for me. Because if someone writes a letter to the president to say how they feel about a matter, I don't know what else you need to see before you act. We have a right to stand here today as Guyanese. And I hope that all Guyanese can stand, even if you're in your house, in some way or the other, for what is right. This has to stop. This has gone too far. Once you have an official report sent to anybody or a letter of complaint about anyone who serves in the cabinet, the president must act. And this accusation was way too serious. This is way too scathing for anybody to say that you could wait until you have evidence. So what is the letter then? What are you going to do? DNA test, Irfan Ali? Are you a medical doctor too? Are you into forensics? What is it? What evidence do you need? As a father, and I have another father standing here with me, I have a mother, as I said, and other people are coming down the road. We can't take this. There's no Guyanese who should accept this. So we're here to stand today to register our protest. I'm aware that you're going to be monitoring me today and all of that, because I'm standing in front of the State House. I understand what's going to happen. But I want you to monitor the fact that the father is standing here in defense of the innocence of our children. You see, people are wearing white standing here with me, wearing white. And I'm thankful for those who are here. And if they wish to give commentary and say how they feel about this matter, because it's good for us to say how we feel about things as freedom of expression, freedom of speech. We're not here to accuse anybody. We're here to say that based on the accusations made, the person inhabiting this house called State House behind me here is supposed to act. There's no minister in government who's supposed to reach out to anybody for help or to offer help. The police are there for a purpose. What help you offering anybody? So can you see clearly? If you're hearing clearly, just grant us a favor, sharing this broadcast so that we can have our protest registered. As you notice, we're standing here peacefully. I don't believe in being disruptive and all the rest of it. I believe in a peaceful course of action. Dharamlal must go. That's as much as we'll be saying this afternoon, if there's any chance. Dharamlal must go. Priya must go. You had no right to say that you offer anybody any help. That is not your job. I just want to make you aware something before we build reference to this protest action we're taking here. We're also aware, based on what is on social media, the people haven't denied it yet. Number one, that a child is said to have signed in the presence of her parents. My daughter is 16 years old. When we take her to the bank to open an account, she cannot sign anything. We are opening the account for her. The most they may try to get is a signature from her as a form of ID. But that's it. My child is 16. How could a 16-year-old say she's signing in the presence of her parents? Further to that, if this is a rape allegation is being made here, how we don't have child care protection agency sitting in the room where the child is saying that nobody raped her? She leveled an accusation that Dharamlal did these things that are so sickening to her. She accused him of that. How did we not have child care protection agency, an official or two or three sitting in the same room because they know what questions should be asked of a child? They know that. Don't worry, the gun clocking behind me and the broadcast. The police are, the president guard doing what they have to do. All right, they're changing shift. So how you could tell me anybody in Guyana that the girl and her parents were sitting there? Are the parents forensic scientists? How do you know are the parents attorneys at law? How do the parents know what questions are appropriate or inappropriate? Dharamlal must go. If Irfan Ali respects anybody in Guyana, he will remove Dharamlal from cabinet. He has that much power. He cannot remove from parliament because parliamentary positions are based on Jagdeo being the head of the list. So Jagdeo has to make the decision. And if Jagdeo respects this guy, he needs to let Dharamlal leave parliament too. And if Robeson Ben respects this guy, he needs to ensure that Dharamlal is investigated thoroughly. And I say again, you must have a polygraph test. And bring the young lady to sit as well in the company of Child Care Protection Agency and other people to tell us that what she said wasn't true. We have a right as Guyanese to stand in the interests of our children. And for the 20 who were burnt in Madia, there's yet to be an inquiry launched. There's no commission of inquiry. Look how long 20 of our children were burnt alive, roasted alive. People were dead. Children are burnt alive, indigenous people. And we can't hear yet about a commission of inquiry. We have had enough. I've come all the way to Georgetown to stand here because it must be registered that people stood complaining and saying that they did not want to have this happen in our country. And we want to have a proper investigation into this matter. We can't accept this. There's no right-thinking Guyanese who should accept this. There's no father who should accept this kind of foolishness and telling us that a child who's 16 years old could sign and say, I didn't do it, and that's the end of the matter. It's not the end of the matter. Because there are too many reports about Dharamlal. Dharamlal must go. There are too many reports about this behavior. Let us stand as Guyanese. Stand for something. We must respect women. We must respect females. And if any woman reports she was raped, call the police. You don't have to wait for any evidence because the police gets evidence. The police job is to ascertain whether something is credible enough to charge somebody. Their job is also enough their job is to be positioned to gather evidence. When did Ali become some investigator? Damlal must go. We call on Irfan Ali, who's occupying that house behind me. Our house. Damlal must go. You should also go, but I know you wouldn't do it. Because you have gone into the realm of suppressing or hindering the course of justice. There's no way that you should say in your capacity that you're waiting for some investigation or for evidence. What evidence? What? You wanted to have a video or something? What evidence do you want? Somebody's in there at least 8 reports so far about rape in reference to this fella. 8? We've had enough. So, as I stand there, as I said, if you guys want to give comments, I would really love for you to say how you feel about this matter, because we are here to express our concern. I want to hear me carefully. And to say that based on all these accusations that are laid before Damlal, he needs to be out of parliament. That is not a good train for Guyana. It is not a healthy thing for our country. The young men in this country mustn't think this is okay. The child made a report. From the minute she made the report, there should have been action. Not waiting for some evidence. There should be action. Nobody has to give Ali any evidence. You are not an investigating officer. And if you understand what rape is like, you'll understand what this girl is going through. If it were true. If it is true that this child, and I believe it's true, that's my view. But if it's true, you don't have a clue about, she said it in the letter if it's her. The person who wrote that letter said that how they felt like nothing and destroyed as a female. We are here to stand for justice for our children. So, brother, you want to give? Okay, then let's have my sister here then. How do you feel about this matter?
I'm livid. I'm upset. As a female living in this country, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe for my boys. I have 2 boys. I'm an educator. I teach children. And for them to come and say something like that to me, I don't know how I would react. I'm really, really upset about the situation, and Damlal should go. I've even worked, my first job that I worked at, I was sexually assaulted. But back then, who was I supposed to go and talk to? Who am I supposed to go and complain to? I don't feel protected, and that's a fact.
Thank you. And we'll talk some more as well.
Yes, Damlal must go because the act that he commit is very wicked. If the girl, what she said is true, he need to go. We cannot accept something like this. It could be any one of us daughter.
Correct.
And are we going to sit down and relax and clap our hands, stay in our house without protesting, without saying something? It don't make no sense. Just talking at home. We have to let our voice be heard. And today I am very upset and sad what happened to that young lady. And we need to take a stand up for what is right.
So based on the young lady's accusation, because we don't know whether it's true or not, but based on what she's saying, if you were her father, what are some things that would have gone through your mind as a father of this child?
A lot of things will go through my mind. Maybe I want to take actions, especially in my own hands. But the police is there, the law is there to do what's supposed to do. And if the law is not doing what's supposed to do, anything could happen. Because as I said before, when it's not your child, you say anything, but when it's your own,
Right.
then you know how serious it is. Every cow feels his own calf. And we have to stand up, not because it's not our child. We got to know that that child have feelings and she's hurt, she's in pain, and we need to stand up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And as I said, we'll be engaged further in discussions as we stand here today. Because the question we have to ask ourselves is, what if, as our brother said it, what if it was your daughter who came forward with such a report? And then because of pressure from whoever it is, she has to then change and say she didn't say it. What if that's the case? I'm saying, what if that's the situation? How do you think that person, that female, would feel if all that she said initially or was said or attributed to her would have been true? I want you to tell me, as a man, how would you have felt? You hear the sister here came. I didn't even know that somebody can come today because this is close to home. Somebody is standing with us today saying she was sexually assaulted, but to whom would she go? Do you see what Ghana is like? Do you see what a country is like when females in our country don't have the confidence in the system? Say, I can go and report this and my rights will be protected. When women can't report sexual abuse, your country is in trouble. And if they take the law into their hands now, you'll say, well, they should go to the police. Yes, go ahead.
You know what the dreadful part is? They're gonna get people gonna be saying, why you take so long to come and complain? Why
Right.
only now you coming out?
True.
This why you're telling lies, money you want, is this you want, and all those things you gotta hear. So that is why people who are or females who are sexual assaulted do not want to come forward and talk. It is take a lot out of somebody who has been sexually assaulted to come out and say something.
Now, as a female, help us with it. As a lady, do you see yourself writing such a letter as this person, as people say was written? Just for no reason, or just somebody coming up and say, I'll call this person name as a female and say that you were raped by somebody?
No, it had to happen. Make her write it. Because sometimes you sit down, and the thing that it's so shocking. He claimed she said that he took her upstairs. I mean, you're 16 or 15 at it. She said she was 15 at the time. You're 15 years old. At the time, your mind, you're so impressionable.
Correct.
And if the guy said and trusting him, they go upstairs, and then the first thing the guy do to you was just kiss you. You're shocked. You don't even know how to respond to it. And then December, January, February, March, April, May, June, 6 months. That is a heavy burden. It's a heavy, heavy burden. And for her to write it out, to me, that is our way of acting out rather than killing herself, which is a safe way.
Wow. Viewers, I hope that you can hear. Good afternoon. I hope you can hear the concern of these. It's okay. Yeah, I'm on video here. We're standing here in protest about a matter we want the president to take action in. Yes, we're protesting or registering our concern, I should say. In relation to this report about Dharamlal, we're here to ask Irfan Ali to remove Dharamlal from cabinet based on the accusations at the level, because this is concerned to us as fathers. There's somebody here who herself is on record saying that she is a victim of sexual assault and is standing here to express how concerned it is to her. All right. So we're here to register or protest for this in reference to the president's failure, A, to have police involved in the matter from the inception, B, to have Dharamlal, the police have him arrested, like any other man would, like I would or you would or anybody else I would assume, I would think or hope, would be made to answer these charges. So that's what we're standing here to do, to register our concern as Guyanese citizens, of course, peacefully. And you can let us know if that's an issue. Is that a problem for us to stand here to register our concern?
Yeah, it's a problem because you're protesting is supposed to get permission to protest.
No,
That's the only problem.
they don't have permission to protest. You have to have permission to walk. You're after the law now. You have to know that. You have to have permission to walk the streets of Georgia in more than 2 abreast. You have to have permission to use a loud hailer. You don't have to have permission to protest. So you can go and check the law and come back and let me know. Check it on your phone if you want. Nobody grants you permission to protest in Guyana. This is not South Korea or North Korea. So here again, we have another problem with our enforcement under the law. There's an officer who came to speak to us who's of the view they have to have permission to protest. Do you all understand how stupid Guyana is getting here? How crazy our country is getting? Is there any law that says that Guyanese have to have permission to protest? Do you all understand what we're dealing with here? So how could people come to law enforcement? How could people come to the police for help when the police don't even know the law? You don't need permission to protest in Guyana. Did Ali seek permission to go and stand in Kingston to stop Karen Cummins from going to, and when he was in front of vehicles, say, lock me up, lock me up? Come on, man. The basic human rights afforded to every Guyanese. And I want you all to record this. Let this be on record about what Guyanese are facing. If we're standing here saying that we have concerns about how this situation is being handled, how you have to tell me I have to have permission to say I have concern? You don't need permission to protest as a Guyanese. We are no threat to Irfan Ali. That's why I said we're going to stand here peacefully. You see what happens standing here peacefully. Officers come to ask me a question and ask us why we're standing here, then say we need permission to protest. No, we don't have to be insulting. Some of these officers need a refresher course maybe. So I don't have a problem helping them to understand the law. If you tell any Guyanese they have to have permission to protest, you're saying that you're in a dictatorial state, and you're in a state whereby people have no rights in reference to human rights. So I want anybody to come and tell me I don't have such rights available to me or to us as people here. So it's obvious then that we've got the attention probably of somebody in there, and the message may get to Ali. So let's get it clear, Mr. Ali. Your job was never to say you're waiting for any evidence. Your job was to say that this matter has been handed over to law enforcement. All right? So let's get clear what we're standing here about. This is not whereby you saying that the matter is being investigated by you. The case or somebody's trying to reach me. The sequence of events should have been that the matter has been handed over to the relevant authorities. Even if you say that, we think it's the police. But don't tell me that you were waiting for evidence to act on the armed laws based on this accusation. This is wrong. Our women must be protected in this country. Anybody who makes such a complaint must be protected. Hello. That's fine. You got not on camera. Anybody who complains that they were raped, they must be protected. We can't play with this. And more so, this is a 16-year-old child who has this attributed to her, in reference to the complaint. There were events that triggered what we're doing here. And these events are extremely bothersome to us. Now, can you imagine this guy, and he's coming to the State House? You own this. This is not police compound, and even they don't own that. We own every state building in this country. And you're standing, not even at State House, you're standing on the road in front of State House. And are being told that you have to have permission to protest. Do you all understand the kind of crazy society we're in now? The police in this country are being used against Guyanese. And let the record show that. I am thankful that you are here who on this broadcast can see exactly what I face. And this is not the first time. And wherever my broadcasts are going to reach, this is not the first time. Guyanese who follow me and follow on my social media platform, you see how often Guyana Police Force gets in my face. So the police will come to me, but the police can't go to the Amlal yet. I want you all to see. The police can come to me. All right, Regina, are you here? Is Regina on the broadcast? If you are, call your auntie. No, tell her that I am doing a live broadcast. All right? We as Guyanese have a right to stand, to register our concern about any matter. We could stand anywhere except for people's private property. And let no one tell you that you have the right or you have to ask them to protest in Guyana. Nobody must tell you that. Nothing can be further from the truth. Look at how quickly officers of the law could reach to us. But they couldn't reach to Darmlal to say that there's a charge leveled against you or there's an accusation made and you need to come to the station. All right? We have every right to say how concerned we are. You stand on a boulevard in a big open area. This is not Ali's private residence. And then Jalgio said that Guyana has got freedom of the press. Didn't you say that? And people in Guyana are free to protest nowadays. Jalgio said that. And Ali said that when we had press freedom, a week of press week. What happened now? You remember we had freedom of the press and they said, oh, no, we don't have the problem in Guyana. People are free to even protest and say, well, what happened? Am I free to stand here now? So our stance here as Guyanese, and you've heard from someone, I didn't even know that, and that this is even so impactful, where a woman could have come to their mother and say that years ago she suffered, and she didn't know who to talk to. She was sexually abused and didn't know who to speak to. Do you understand the kind of pain a woman would feel? You don't know who to talk to? But we scared her. I am never afraid. And I would advise Clifton Hicken to take time to teach your law enforcement officers what rights Guyanese have, because it doesn't seem that they are all familiar with those rights. Teach them the rights we have. Teach Ali and Priya and all of them what they should and should not do. Teach them of what they should and shouldn't do. Teach them the rights of citizens of this country. Teach them that Guyanese have the right to stand in this country. Teach them that the state buildings are owned by the people of Guyana. Inform Guyanese of what is right. Because if you don't inform people of their rights, then more often than other people will be abused. And people accept certain things not knowing what their rights are. The right of this young lady or any young lady in reporting such a matter is to be protected by law, is to have an investigation launched by the law enforcement officers. It is to have the accused arrested and be made to answer. This is a girl. According to reports I'm seeing on my social media page, there are many instances of the same person being accused of the same thing. What are we doing about it? When will it end? I trust that you will have by next week major protests in Georgetown. There's one now, one on Monday. Monday at 12, wait, right here? Send it to me, please. Oh, there's supposed to be a protest in Georgetown on Monday. Monday at 12 o'clock. All right? There has to be, that's in Kingston somewhere? All right. So we have to make a statement, a consistent statement in our country. All right? We have a right to be concerned as Guyanese. We have a right as Guyanese people to know what is being done with this situation. And we have a right to call, as we as Guyanese are doing. We have a right to call for this person to be removed from cabinet because it's concerning to us. We're father standing here. There's somebody who's a victim of situations of sexual abuse, standing to say that she didn't even know who to talk to. We have a right as Guyanese citizens to stand and demand that justice be served. Our call here today, and my call in standing here today, is for Damlal to be removed from cabinet with immediate effect. I stand further to say that because I pay, and Guyanese pay to have every member of parliament function in the House of Assembly, we have a right as Guyanese to say that they should be removed. It's our right to call for that because we need to be represented by people whose character is impeccable, who can stand the test of public scrutiny. This is not happening in this case. So we are concerned, gravely concerned. There needs to be an arrest made. Our children must feel safe. And if you, again, I say, I stand publicly to say this. If you put this child's image all across social media, what do you think your daughter will do for having her? She would not want to have to endure that kind of situation, so she wouldn't tell. Because she doesn't want to have her image all over social media. You shouldn't do that to that child. All right? You shouldn't have our children go through that. How much more peaceful can anyone be? To stand here to say that on behalf of children in this country, we're calling for action. Mothers, fathers, although it is said that you must protect your children, the law is there to do that beyond what you can do. We have laws in our country that are supposed to function, or what you say, kick in as soon as an accusation is leveled. Not after investigations are made. We feel as if our children were failed in this whole situation. And it has to be remedied. We're told that there's going to be a protest on Monday. Hopefully, persons are going to be prepared to stand. Yes, this is persons will be prepared to stand and to stand courageously to defend the right of our children. All right? Our children must feel, even if this didn't happen to this girl, I'm saying that based on what surrounds this whole scenario, our daughters now who are of that age would feel as if it doesn't make sense saying anything because of what social media will do to me. Our children must feel as if when they make a report, action is taken immediately, especially matters of this nature. Our girls in Ghana must feel safe and protected. Hey guys, yeah man. Our girls must feel safe and protected at all costs. Where are the fathers? Where are the voices of the fathers? Where are the mothers? Where are the legal minds who's supposed to say you can't come tell somebody permission to stand in protest about something bothers them as a Guyanese? Where are the legal minds to defend us? We need to be protected. Okay? Good afternoon. Our rights as Guyanese must be protected. And we calling for that protection. Okay? Every Guyanese must have their rights protected. Our children must feel safe. Our children must be assured That's Child Care Protection Agency and other departments are prepared to protect them. All right? Fathers, your daughters must understand that you're prepared to stand for them and in their defense at all costs. Okay? All right? I appreciate your encouragement, people. This is bigger than one occasion. This is a statement that has to be made across the globe, across the nation of Guyana, that our children must feel safe. At all costs, our children must feel safe. They mustn't feel as if they cannot come forward to say how they feel about the matter, or in your home, teach your children today that however they feel about the situation, they must feel free to express it. It is their right to do so. So I am here to stand as a man today, expressing grave concern over the situation. Grave concern, because this should not be a case in which any mother feels that her child doesn't have the right to report how she feels about the situation. All right? Yes, all right. Okay? So I'm standing here, and you can see the officers of the law who are around. That's their job. I don't have an issue with police doing their job. As I said, they armed with high-powered rifles too. And look at me, standing with two arms. All right? Look at me here. And look at what surrounds us. All right? We're standing here. I'm standing here to say that I have, as a citizen of this country, serious concern that this matter is being handled. Serious concern, because this should not happen to cross our minds that children, and then there's a report saying the person sat before some superintendent and signed a document. How could that happen? How do we get to that? Okay? So the protest is being registered. Our concerns are being raised because we feel strongly that this matter should be handled properly.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
My name is Sergeant Clark.
Sergeant Clark, okay.
Yes, I'm in charge of the section that operates, or is operating today.
Okay.
Right? I'm coming to based on the information received, and that is to which that you guys were protesting or launching some form of protest.
Yeah, we're actually concerned about the matter regarding
right?
the complaint.
I would like to listen or look into your matter further.
I appreciate
but
that.
first, I must advise you that picketing or protesting within the perimeter or the fence of State House is prohibited by law.
Where is the fence? Can you show me, please?
To be from the green and white, that is south, to the green and white, that is north.
You say within the fence or beyond the fence?
So you need to just step beyond.
So we go beyond?
Yeah, and then we'll come
in. Okay, no problem. That's fine, no problem. Okay, so we're told that we're not supposed to stand within the perimeter of State House fence. Okay? So, as you can see, the officers are coming with me to have a conversation with high-powered rifles. All right? Let the record show. Which way is which fence?
The end of the green and white fence.
Walter Roth Museum? Beyond that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we've got officers with weapons. You see my hand, right? High-powered rifles coming to talk to me with two empty hands, apart from holding my camera. As a father, as a Guyanese saying that we require, in this situation, anyone who serves us in Parliament, they should be removed, as Desmond Hoy did with Corbyn. Desmond Hoy said to Corbyn, you have to leave until the matter is dealt with. That's what he's saying here. You got anywhere around here? Okay, fine. So we're standing exactly where the officer says we should stand. All right? And they're now going to conduct an interview where I hope that my concern will be registered and recorded. I would like to see what is being written. So that my concern be registered and our concern as citizens of this country be registered as we've said it. Okay? But I also want those in authority to see that there are officers who came to us with high-powered rifles in their hands to talk to citizens with two long arms, standing peacefully on the boulevard, not even on the street. All right? So, good afternoon. Yes, I'd like this to be recorded. You have your camera on?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so mine is on as well.
Right. Could I have your name, please?
I am Nigel, London. May I have yours and your rank, please?
My name is Sergeant Clark. My regulation number is 21323.
Okay, Sergeant Clark. Okay.
How old are you, sir?
49 years old.
Are you employed?
Yes, I am.
Where are you employed, or are you self-employed?
I'm self-employed. Can you see what the purpose of your statement is?
Basically, before I start to conduct my interview, I must get a few personal details.
Okay.
This basically helps us in making an occurrence at the station in the occurrence book, or what persons would know what you reported.
And what is the occurrence that you're reporting?
Right? After this, I will listen to your...
Okay. No, but you should inform.
All right. This was recorded earlier. This was a live protest by Nigel London, Apostle Nigel London. And I just stepped in here because this is of interest. I'm reading some of your comments. This is of interest. Nigel London has not broken any law, none whatsoever. Nigel London is conducting a peaceful protest within his constitutional rights. He is basically exercising that right. So here it is. We're not going to entertain the trench crappos them. We see a couple of them. We have no patience with them. They got to go. Now, before I get back to this comedy by this officer, this policeman, who is just taking instructions, mind you. He's just taking instructions. Nigel London is standing in front of State House that all of us are paying taxes for, so that Irfan Ali and everyone else, all the occupants in State House, could get a good life with taxpayers' monies. This man, Nigel London, drove all the way from Linden. He's not waiting until next week to have any protest. He jumped in his vehicle, whether it had sufficient gas or not, and he drove all the way to Georgetown to register his concerns in a legal, justified manner in front of State House. Now, this policeman he is violating the rights of Nigel London. And this is how they violate your rights. There is no reason for this policeman to have an interview with Nigel London. In other words, this officer is simply saying that Nigel London is detained. I was hoping that Mr. London would have said to the policeman, "This is my name. What is the purpose of this whole interview? Am I committing any crime? Have I violated any law?" Simple as that. Now, let us get back to this interaction for some of you who may have missed it. But I'm sorry I had to interrupt that. I had to pause it because this is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Right after this, we will be joined. I will be joined in studio by Nigel London, Apostle Nigel London. He's all the way in his office, but we will link up with Nigel in just about a few minutes. Let's get back to this here. Let's get back to this here, please. This is ridiculous.
for me before I can know what you're talking about.
Where's the address?
No,
This is the last information I have, and then we're gonna get to
okay.
the issue or
85 Phase Rest, Linden. Yes, just
all
so
right.
that people can be educated as to why you stand. And I hope that you can do your job. Of course, I expect you to do it efficiently. So people can be informed by you, the officer of the law, and guided, I should say, as to what brings you here, why weapons are around me, and other people standing here peacefully in Georgetown to say how we feel about the matter. So you can go ahead.
All right, to simplify it, a mason works with tools, a carpenter works with tools, and the police also work with tools or equipment.
Okay.
Right? So, despite the nature, if we're the responding patrol, we have to respond because basically there are our tools that we're giving to do policing with.
Do you have batons available anymore? Because you should be told what the people have in their hand. They have 2 arms. Ladies have 2 arms, nothing else. So you're supposed to operate
My
in a manner
baton is in the
that
vehicle.
right. So you should approach me in a manner that speaks to how I am.
Yes,
Right?
that
So
is what I'm doing.
no, if you approach me
What
with a
is the
weapon, then obviously there's some intention that okay, then this will go left.
my weapon is in my holster, and if you're familiar with weapon, you should know as long as it's in the holster, pose no threat.
It does pose a threat
So,
to me.
all right, well, I'm not here to pose a threat to you. That
Okay.
should be clear by now.
Well, I feel better
Right?
now.
What
that
is
you
the
said it.
ongoing issue, or what is it you'd like to report to the police?
And now let me before we bring in the Apostle Nigel London, let me say that I like what I just heard there from that policeman who understands, and he's demonstrating there to Mr. London. As much as I still am sticking to my point that Nigel London's constitutional rights are being violated there. But I'm glad that the officer understands that he should not be posing any threat to Mr. London and the others there. And so he seems to be coming around. I think Nigel London has actually cornered him in a sense that Nigel has demonstrated a fearless attitude there and is able to, in a very eloquent and intelligent manner, communicate to the policeman so that the policeman knows that Nigel London is not afraid of him. So Nigel London has basically disarmed the policeman. Let's continue here now.
Nothing.
That would have caused you to.
I'm not representing police. I'm here to register a matter to social media, that is, in reference to the head of state. My
The police
concern
too.
regarding the matter that was circulating on social media that the head of state spoke to, which is the matter with Dharam Lal. I'm here to say that as a father, I have grave concern as how it was handled. As one who is a resident that's law abiding, I understand that if an accusation is made against me, you'll arrest me. And Dharam Lal was not arrested as far as I'm aware. I'm also here to register concern about the fact that, according to the media and herself, the Minister of Education said she went to offer help to the person who would have been involved in this matter the accusation is pinned to. And I'm saying that if any matter of sexual abuse is registered, nobody offers help. You bring you all into play. That's what my concern here is about. And finally, to say that, in my view, among others who are sharing, I'm speaking for myself here, that Dharam Lal, who is employed by me as a taxpayer and by us as taxpayers in Guyana, should not be in the House of Assembly. He should be removed from the House of Assembly because his conduct based on the allegation doesn't lend itself to him representing me well in the House of Assembly. Is there anything that I've said and done thus far that speaks to breaking the law?
No,
Okay,
not so
thank you.
far. So I will advise you based on what you've told me. I will basically advise you, and then I will carry on my normal duty.
Now, wait a minute, guys. This is interesting. Nigel London, Mr. London, has just schooled that young policeman who is just basically taking orders, instructions. And you could tell that the policeman just is attempting to find a way to move away from this embarrassment that he has caused himself. Again, the policeman doesn't know better other than he's taking instructions. What Nigel London indicated is like, look, I'm not here to do any harm. Irfan Ali made a comment, made a statement, a ridiculous statement, and as a citizen, a law-abiding citizen, Nigel London and others drove all the way from Linden to register that concern immediately, not to wait until next week, immediately. Let us hear what this policeman now has to say. It gets interesting. Serious, but hey, let us hear.
And that is, it is prohibited by law to picket, record, or demonstrate any form of a protest.
Now, I'm looking at Nigel London right there. Nigel is probably looking at him now to quote the law. What is prohibited? Is he videoing? Is it a crime to video something that taxpayers are paying for? Is it a crime to video State House in a protest? Is it a crime to video a police station? Is it a crime? Where in the law that says that it is a crime? Where in the law that says that it is illegal for someone to stand up in front of any one of these government buildings and register a concern? It gets interesting. I want to hear this part, guys.
Just beyond, within the perimeter.
Within that perimeter.
So you're free to do so from
Yeah,
this
I'm
point
here.
and beyond, and from
Within the premise for residency, within the
Prime
premise.
Minister, sorry. So it's going to be
Either
until
either
the
the same
landmark.
thing.
Ah.
Either either
Right, so it's basically from here, going back the way, and until from the Lamar Street, going back to Pegasus.
So, just to be clear, if I'm standing facing another direction and GPL is behind me, is that prohibited too?
Yeah, you could
Because
video. You can't
I'm
video.
not, I cannot capture State House,
No, you can't capture.
which is owned by me and other Guyanese.
You cannot capture State House.
Does it speak to there being a threat to spread security if I capture State House? Because I need information, you have to provide it to me.
I have provided all the information. That
You haven't provided it. I'm asking you a question as an officer of the law to help me.
And I am saying.
Is there a threat to the president?
Yes, there is.
What's the threat if I
Right?
may
You're
ask?
not allowed to video a State House compound. Right? Basically, put it this way.
Right.
For making visual record of a premises or property, there are ways persons could go about identifying a map, a layout, or whatever the pasture might be, a whole sorts of different.
Can you
Right?
clarify what that means, please?
That is as far as I know. Right? So
Okay.
you're free to do whatever you're doing or to continue doing what you are doing peacefully, but please do it from fence heading south, and that would be from Lamar Street heading to Marriott. Right?
From Lamar Street.
This corner, from March to the Prime Minister and Center.
Right.
There's there. Same goes to there, but from Lamar Street going toward the Marriott Hotel to the shore.
All right. So, Guyanese, do the same. Guyanese, I hope that you're informed as to what pertains to this situation here. As I said, Robeson Ben, I want you to see. An assault rifle came out of a vehicle in the hand of an officer with 3 Guyanese standing on the road. What threat do we face? Do we pose? All right? Let's get this clear. Guyanese are standing here saying how we feel about the matter with Dharmlal. And that would lend itself to officers exiting a vehicle with an AK-47 or an AR-15 assault rifle. We have it on record here now, right? We told that if you have a video footage of the State House, that you're a threat in some way to what we own or to the one who inhabits what we own as a people. Are you as Guyanese satisfied with this? Let me just ask you before I leave you this afternoon. Are you okay with this kind of event? Now, mind you, Dharmlal is not arrested. Do you see that there are at least 6 to 8 officers? We were surrounded at one point. So about 6 to 8 police officers with weapons came and they're still driving around here. But nobody arrested Dharmlal. So what's the accusation made against me? That I'm recording State House that's owned by us? Let me hear what the crime I'm committing. The crime I'm committing thus far, or the wrong I'm doing, is that I'm recording State House on video. What is Dharmlal's accusation that's leveled against him? Tell me if, now let's see how y'all are going to respond to this. Because there's a woman who was standing with me who said that she faced sexual abuse in her life as well. So there's one who we classify in Guyana by, I don't like the term, but as a victim. And police will come and assault rifles to comfort the victim. Who's saying based on this is a trigger. This makes her feel terrible. These accusations she's seeing here. And so she came out to vent or to express how she feels. And here comes officers with high-powered rifles and weapons and guns. By the way, you are supposed to. I don't Guyana law well, because Guyana has a strange law. Guyana is in a place in Jupiter back down. But according to law, in the US and stuff where I live, you approach the person with one level above in reference to the threat. So if I have two long arms, you come maybe with a baton or a taser. That's it. You don't come with a gun to talk to me.
All right, let's take a pin there for a moment. Nigel London, Apostle Nigel London, has made a lot of points, important points here, as we have Mr. London here with us. Sorry to keep you waiting. We were just listening to that interaction there.
That's okay.
Let me to begin with say kudos on behalf of all the people who are watching and listening this program. Kudos to you. You left all the way to Linden, from Linden to Georgetown, to demonstrate your concern about this serious, extraordinarily serious matter concerning Nigel Dharamlal, a minister of the installed regime, concerning allegations of rape. Um, how did that interaction end? Sorry.
First of all, thank you very much, Mr. Benshop, for doing what you do, what I consider to be best, which is to keep the diaspora and Guyanese at large informed, to critically analyze things with certainly what I consider to be a very courageous attitude and mind, and I'm certainly grateful for that. But this interaction today ended with my being followed. After I was through with the broadcast, the members of the Ghana Police Force with heavily tinted vehicles were trailing my vehicle. They were following me. So apparently they believe that this is some tactic that they can use to intimidate me in some way, but probably they don't know that I do not fear anyone. Honestly speaking, apart from myself, without Yahweh in me. So they followed me, and I would assume they think that that is going to cause me to back off in some way from the situation, but it only intensifies.
Let me ask you this. How did you feel then when you heard the policeman saying that you have no right, no legal right to stand there and face State House or to even video? I have seen so many tourists stop by there, took photographs, video, and all manner of things, and it is perfectly fine. I know of a British man who jumped State House fence and he walked out there alive. No charges, no nothing, no jail time, no nothing. What's happening with these guys? Did they quote any law to you to tell you that
They,
you can't stand there, that you got to go
they,
too long by Pegasus side?
they couldn't quote any law to me. What I found to be funny was someone was doing a photo shoot in front of State House. That's why I'm laughing when you spoke. Someone was there doing a photo shoot for somebody in front of State House. They weren't a threat, but my being there was a threat. So I don't know if the viewers were able to see. I guess they didn't. But my hand was trembling because I was extremely livid. I was extremely angry knowing that this officer is here to play a game. However, I didn't want there to be an escalation of the situation whereby it descended into a matter where it became, to some extent, rigid in reference to my position and the officer having to exercise some degree of force to which I would have responded. Because what I wanted the Guyanese to see is that I am prepared as an individual to move beyond where they said, but for Guyanese to hear the folly in what they're saying. Because there are many things I can do now in reference to dealing with them. Because there's no law that says that I pose a threat to a building that I own. It's not a private premises, it's owned by the state. And I was not standing. That's why if the officer, of course, in his poor English said that I'm not permitted to be in the perimeter, within the perimeter of State House. Within cannot be without at the same time. So their language is so poor and so weak that they don't understand what they said. If I'm prohibited from being within the perimeter of State House and I'm standing outside, then I'm within the boundaries, confines of the law. But it was really angering to me. And then it was also disappointing when I looked at the face of that young African man, that officer, seeking to fulfill or meet the standard of someone who he knows is putting him in the front line to look very, very asinine. It was just disheartening to know that that's what our brothers and sisters have become, and that's what they have to face in order for them to eat. This belittling of their intelligence and causing them to come forward to speak as if they have no sense.
You know, people go all the way in Washington, D.C. They stand in front of the White House. They take photographs, and I have done that on numerous occasions, and I'm sure others, you may have done that. People go till England, in London, in front of 10
Buckingham
Downing
Palace.
Street. And they do all these things. People go in front of the U.S. State Department. They go in front of the FBI headquarters. I don't know what makes these guys, these policemen today, feel that you were violating any law. And I'm still a bit surprised that even while being on camera, this policeman continued with that nonsense.
The reason why they would do that, my brother, is because it's becoming the norm where Guyanese are accepting their behavior or demonstrating the acceptance of that behavior. So they're not met with resistance. And I believe to some extent that my resistance to them is surprising because they expect persons to just cover and walk away or be afraid of them. But this is happening a bit too often for my liking. And I believe that hopefully, I should say, I hope that within the next 24 hours, some legal luminary will come forward to say that what the officer has done to me is criminal and it's a violation of my human right and my right as a Guyanese altogether. Because if the legal minds, if the Bar Association and Human Rights Association do not step forward to speak to the rights of Guyanese, then they'll continue to be abuses of the law. And that's what you're seeing here. They don't even know what the law is. And honestly speaking, Mr. Benchop, I honestly believe that these officers do not know what the law is. They're just told by some higher up, listen, go and deal with this person. And they have to run to do it. And they try to, I guess they are members of the legislature now where they seek to fashion laws or form laws on the fly.
Something is not adding up here at all. But I was waiting and hoping that you would ask the question, what if you refuse one? Because what's the relevance of where you work? What does that have to do with anything? Where you work, how old are you, and all these things. You already give your name.
Yeah.
My name is Nigel London. This is why I'm here. How old are you? Where do you work? I don't know.
Which I didn't have to do, but the times when I just like having fun because for one, where I live is no secret. I tell people where I am. I don't have to be afraid of anyone, which I did that on purpose. And so when they ask me I work and so on, I like to answer these questions sometimes to police officers for them to think that they're having a leeway. Then I would stop by saying, well, now why are you asking me these questions? As you saw me say to him, why? Why are you seeking to ask me beyond that which I'm comfortable or you should? Because he sought to say that there's a report that I wanted to make to the police officers. Now, how much more insane can people be in this country in reference to law enforcement? How can you approach me to say that I am here to make a report to the police? I never even sought to do that. So he's forming the assumption that I came to make a report by standing in front of the State House.
Why would you want to make a report to the police in front of State House?
This is crazy.
Now, sometimes I like to address the trench crappos to expose their ignorance. There's a John Balaram is saying, London, stop spewing nonsense like an idiot. You didn't have titles for State House, and Dumb Benchop, pull me again, Dumb Benchop is fueling violence. You see the level of these people? Where during the course of our discussion, we are calling or talking about violence, right?
Oh my goodness.
Now, listen to this idiot, John Balaram. Taxpayers of Guyana are owners of all government properties and buildings. Taxpayers are paying the salaries of Irfan Ali and taking care of Irfan Ali and his entire family and whomever else is there at State House. So State House belongs not to the PPP, not to Irfan Ali, but it belongs to who? The Guyanese people. And Guyanese have a right to register their concerns right there at State House. You didn't break the gate. You didn't jump the fence. You didn't go over there. And I'm sure this idiot, Balram or whoever his name is, would go in front of, if he has a visitor's visa for the U.S. or if he lives in the U.S., he would go at the White House. He got take picture. He got stand up there. He's going to video it and show Imam, Mina, Ni Chacha, Ni Chachi, and everybody say, I'll be the White House. I'll be the White House. But a citizen conducting a peaceful protest in front of State House is a problem to idiots like Balram. I don't know. But continue. Sometimes
it is, and every so often I'm happy when you show these kinds of people and what they think, because I don't have to have a title to State House. Because the term itself speaks about and being ignorant. State House is State House. There's no title to State House. It's owned by Guyanese people, as you rightly said.
And so even the narrative that the trolls are spewing doesn't make any sense, that we're here promoting violence or racism. When did we speak to my being discriminated against for being an African Guyanese? I didn't say that. I'm speaking to the fact that there has been discrimination on the part of my being a father, a Guyanese, standing not even in the confines of State House, standing on the boulevard or the walkway, whatever you call it. The avenue there, that's where I was. And I'm being told I cannot stand there. Initially, of course, you saw when the first man came in blue, I guess he's one of the men on the mission, who came to say to me that I have to have permission to protest in front of State House. Now, that's when it really started to go downhill with me and them.
I don't know, something is definitely wrong. As we move away from that to the issue that brought you in front of State House, a frivolous, a silly statement issued by Irfan Ali about the
Correct.
serious allegations of rape against a sitting minister, a sitting
Correct.
government minister. You are there, you left what you were doing all the way in Linden to be there in front of State House because as a citizen of Guyana, as a father, and as a concerned citizen, you have every right, you or any other citizen, have every right to be there, to stand up, to voice your concern. And again, I say kudos to you. But it's something the likes of a Balram and them can do because they're turning a blind eye because of the ethnicity of the alleged culprit and the ethnicity of the victim, because she is a victim. He has not
Correct.
denied anything. She is a victim. Maybe because of her ethnicity, they feel it is okay to do that to persons of indigenous descent. But let me hear your take, sir, on the whole issue concerning the allegations of rape.
Thank you, and I appreciate the fact that you sought for me to speak to why I stood there today. Irfan Ali is paid to sit in the highest seat in reference to office in this country, and his actions or his response to that which he admitted to being some letter or some form of correspondence sent to him is what troubled me, because he has access and immediate access to Clifton Hicken, to, as far as I would think, to Blanham, who would be the crime chief. And Irfan Ali did not once say that he contacted either of them to launch or to, more than anything else, arrest Dharamlal and to begin to do what the law should requires of them. He didn't say any of those things. He said that he is waiting for there to be evidence. Then he's going to act. And that caused me, viewers and Mr. Benshop, to leave my home in Linden, to say that I refuse to be in Linden, waiting for someone in Georgetown to act based on this irresponsible, and as far as I'm concerned, detrimental statement from the one who's paid to be head of state. More than that, another minister in Pre-Manichan said that she, upon hearing it, sought to reach out to the girl for help. That caused me to come even faster. And yes, officers, you could lock me on them because I drove a little beyond the speed limit today to get to Georgetown. Because I can't believe that somebody is saying that Priya, being an attorney at law, whatever field she specializes in, that someone can be alleged to have been sodomized, a minor, to have been raped, and she's seeking to offer help instead of calling on the authorities to investigate or to arrest the perpetrator, who's in this case alleged to be so. That, my brother, would have caused me to be in Georgetown and will cause me to continue to be here, because it doesn't seem as if persons understand the severity of this accusation and the circumstances that unfolded thereafter. So I was of the view that there should have been, or I still am of the view, Ali distancing himself from this entire situation. The only role he should play is to immediately remove the Dharamlal from the cabinet, as Hoyt did with Corbyn. Well, Corbyn was not in cabinet as far as I'm aware. But Hoyt said, you need to resign until this matter is dealt with. Ali is saying he, as if he were some investigative officer or he has some forensic expertise, he wants evidence. So what is the letter to you then? And this is highly upsetting to me. Forgive me, I'm still in the vehicle, as you can see. I haven't yet even changed my clothes. But this to me, Mr. Benshop and viewers, is troubling and it's angering to know that Ali could be paid millions of dollars of our money to make such stupid statements. I don't know if he done that in Ifat University. This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous and it is dangerous to our teenagers. If our daughters are going to feel that when they make a report to such a high-ranking official, the highest in the country, his responsibility that he must get evidence before the police are called in. That is a threat to my daughter. And I came from London today because I have concern for my daughter and other children. I also came because the 20 children who were killed in Mahdia, there's yet to be a commission of inquiry and more so arrest of Damlal too. And Robson Ben should be dealt with because he had a report, as far as I'm aware. UNESCO said that, your UNICEF said that that area is unsafe, that building, and they left the children in there. Look how many days have passed, and we have no action from Irfan Ali. So that was another reason why I came, because this country has sunken into place whereby the PPP is incapable of managing the affairs of this land, and they need to go.
Well said, Mr. London, in terms of these bunch of folks who have been installed are obviously, and we're seeing it every day, that they are incapable of running the country. Instead of running it, they are ruining it.
Yeah.
You do not wait until there's evidence before you launch an investigation. And you did mention Mr. Robert Corbyn and the allegation level against him. I believe at that time, Mr. Robert Corbyn was Deputy Prime Minister, and he was asked to step aside pending the outcome of the investigations. That is the approach, and that is what real leaders do. There was another situation where a minister of foreign affairs' son was allegedly involved in the trafficking of drugs under the PNC, under Desmond Hoyt's administration, and that minister stepped aside so that there would be no interference or perception of any form of interference of the investigation. And these are the just thing to do. And you could only find these things to happen under a legitimate, under a real president, under a real government. But these guys who are in government right now, albeit through questionable circumstances, they're not leaders. They're a bunch of no good. Anyone who says, as Irfan Ali has said, that when he gets the evidence, I don't know, something is wrong with these guys. Something is. Do you think Irfan Ali is getting the message that he needs to do the right thing, which is to ensure that Dharamlal is removed with immediate effect? Whether the young lady doesn't want to continue with this matter or not is irrelevant. He needs to be removed because this is not the first time, it is not the second time, it's not the third time. Nigel Dharamlal needs to be removed.
I do not believe that Irfan Ali is getting the message because he cannot get the message. It seems to me as if he's incapable of reasoning on that level, because there are cases of precedence in which other leaders have acted, as you rightly said, Desmond Hoyt, and would have caused there to be the resignation or the removal of certain cabinet members so that they can be unhindered approach to dealing with such matter. And by the way, even with the Corbyn case, it was not as scathing, as damning, as destructive to a minor. This is a little girl we're talking about here. And Irfan Ali cannot act because I would dare to inform Guyanese that Irfan Ali is the president paid to be, but he's not the head of the list for PPP. Jagbio is head of the PPP, not Irfan Ali. And that in itself is a conundrum. It's a problem. It's a dilemma because we have someone who's paid to be president, but he can't even lead his own party. How much more disgusting can we be in this country? So Ali cannot take Dharamlal out of parliament. He's not the head of the list. He can remove him from cabinet, but not take him out of parliament. And that to me is also an issue. But Ali, as a president who's paid to be so, should have said something that's far more responsible and should have acted in a manner that's far more responsible to say to Dharamlal, you are out of cabinet. You need to leave. And he should put this in the hand of law enforcement officers, Child Care Protection Agency, as well as far as I'm concerned, members of the Bar Association should come forward and defend the right of this child.
The members,
and make them answer.
Mr. London, sorry, members of the Bar Association, they come out. Of course, it's not a constitutional body. It's a private organization. And whenever they come out and speak out, 99.9% of the times, it's in favor of the PPPC. So it's just a PPP front. They're not going to issue a statement at all on this here. But you were about to make another point. Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Or maybe I should say that I'm expecting because of the nature of the situation, the gravity therein or thereof, that there should be a wider and a broader based response, a stronger message sent. I'd like to say on 107.1 FM live here that I do not believe Damlal should enter the office on Monday, period. They should stand in front of the gate and demand that he speaks to the public, because we are paying him to walk into that office to do what? We should stand there not 12 o'clock. People should be there from 7 o'clock saying that you're going to speak to us publicly and give an account to us because we are afraid for our children based on these accusations. Let him answer. We have to have this man give an account. He is yet to say before the press or before the police to speak his side of the story. I know so well that persons are quick to give responses when they think they have us people's back against the wall. Now, why can't Damlal talk? There should be a response from the public that's broad-based. The private sector commissioner, I haven't seen any letter from them thus far. Neither Joshua Chamber of Commerce, and of course I think we know why. But I still want them to talk, because they wrote many letters from March to August. Let them talk now.
They're not going to say much, if anything at all. Priya Manikchan is in hiding. She's just issuing some silly long comments on her Facebook page that makes absolutely no sense.
None.
And oftentimes people wonder, where did she attend law school? But that's another issue. Let me just bring to the attention of our listening audience about another case that was brought to my attention. And I want this guy, who is Superintendent of Police, Caesar, to respond to allegations being leveled against his department of allegations, mind you, of covering up another rape incident that involves a very senior official, owner of Gafour's. Whether it is true that there's an allegation and a report was made at Rumveld Police Station not so long ago about a rape incident that took place an allegation that took place at Gafour's. We are told that this matter was reported. It was sent over to the crime unit at Ivleri, and Mr. Caesar needs to respond whether it is accurate that rape allegation that was reported, whether it was discontinued and under what circumstances. Again, it's another situation there, Mr. London. We're hoping that the police, Mr. Caesar and others, will respond to the allegation of rape by a senior person of Gafour or Gafour's, and that matter was covered up by the police force, or what really transpired. Now, let us get to this, back to the 16-year-old. And now we are hearing that she no longer wants to pursue this matter, which is highly questionable, and that the family was allegedly compensated a tune of $10 million, we're hearing, and so forth. Should that stop an investigation?
No, it should not, because that they could have a private settlement, as far as I'm concerned. And in my view, if that's the case, then that's a private settlement. It doesn't cover a public servant in Damlal's capacity. Damlal is sitting or standing in the highest office in this country in reference to ministerial positions. He's a cabinet member. He stands in the hallowed halls of the House of Assembly. We should not say that if somebody's paid off, the matter is over. Damlal, because of his position and the authority that he bears and is vested in him, should be investigated and dealt with as a minister or a member of parliament. So they should not just be wiped away. And I said today, and I will say it again, that the concern of mine is that because these matters, and you just spoke to another one, where young ladies are not seeing swift reactions from the Guyana Police Force and intense investigations launched, they don't know how to come out to deal with certain things because they don't feel protected, as one person said on the live broadcast I did earlier. She didn't know who to talk to, because to whom can you speak when you feel that authority is doing these things to you, or people with a lot of power are doing these things, and you don't know who to talk to. We have to have protection for our children, and we have to be very strong in reference to the message we send to anyone who abuses females or is accused thereof. You have to answer. And so I believe that if you're paid $500 million, Damlal still has to answer because of his position and because of the repetition of these accusations. It is not just once or twice or thrice. So he must be made to answer given what position he holds. This should not be over.
And the other thing too, in reference to the allegations of rape, um, there seems to be evidence that he was going after or soliciting sex from this girl when she was a minor.
Correct.
She wasn't yet 16 years old.
No.
She was a minor. And so that is where they should pursue this investigation also. Now, we're not going to see that. The police are not going to go and surround Nigel Dharamlal's house right now to question him, but they are going to use up state resources, taxpayers' dollars, to go and surround you guys today and
Correct.
intimidate you guys.
Well,
I just
they would seek
don't
to
know.
intimidate. They can't
Yeah,
succeed in intimidating me.
seek
But
to intimidate.
correct. But Dharamlal, in reference to what was reported, I would like to also say here that in the letter that is sent, or letter he sent to Ali, the person said that Schumann was warning somebody of Dharamlal's conduct. Now, if Schumann is warning people of Dharamlal's conduct, it means he's aware of Dharamlal's behavior or his alleged behavior. Why did Schumann not speak? And why is he not speaking now? These are all people that I believe, because of the minor involved, should be made to answer. And then there's a letter that I saw, I don't know how accurate it is, where a superintendent in Region 2 would have signed to say that the girl was sworn something in his presence or said that nothing happened. And she is signing as a minor in the presence of her mother and her father. I don't see Child Care Protection Agency being present. So I don't know how a minor could be in the middle of such a serious accusation, being made to sign some statement saying that, okay, then she is unaware of what transpired. This reeks with corruption, and we must, as Guyanese, speak against it, because this is just ridiculous.
We can't depend on Schumann to come to the defense of Dharamlal for obvious reasons. Schumann himself has been in controversies surrounding little girls. So I don't know about that, but if in fact he is telling the little girls them not to go around Nigel Dharamlal, and Schumann himself has had some serious questions. There has been some serious questions concerning Schumann and little girls as well. Very, very little girls as well.
Oh boy.
That is known. So here it is that we are hearing that the little girl is also, according to some letter that we saw, is saying that this thing is political. All of a sudden, it is political. That is not her writing. That is not her saying. No. That is not her opinion. It is the PPP who have decided that this is what they want to do, to make this thing look as though it is political. It is not political. It is criminal. The PPP is trying to make it appear as though it is political. No politician coerced that little girl to go and put stuff up on her Facebook page or her friends speaking out and so forth. I don't know.
But if I may, yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Let me just put a twist to this to say that it is political, because everything that speaks to governance of a country is political. And if a citizen registers a complaint to the president, his office is political. The president, in response, should be politically correct to say that the police are now going to be dealing with this matter. And if they fail to deal with it, then we must make it political because they fail to govern the country. So I don't care if they say that we're trying to make it. I know the context in which the person may be saying it, that we're trying to make it, the PP say want to make it the APNA AFC or the PNC. It is political. Political is not APNA AFC or PNC. Political is how you govern the country. And we want to make it clear that the politician in Irfan Ali would have failed this person in reference to this letter. The politician in Priya Malik Chan would have failed. And I dare say that the politician in Aubrey Norton is failing. Because I can't say that since Thursday something is in the atmosphere. And Aubrey Norton is waiting, I don't know until when, to be on the street in person. That's another reason why I came here. To show Aubrey Norton that I could leave Linden, drive down the highway, pay for my gas, or maybe borrow some money to get some. I could pay to be here and stand. You live in here. You have a Land Cruiser Prado or whatever available to you, and you can't be down in front of the State House yet. What are we doing? This is way beyond what it seems to be the people. This is political because those who should protect the citizens are not. And I'm highly upset, as you can tell. So please, and I'm actually losing lights. If you're not seeing me, I'm still here. My shirt may
That's
be showing.
okay. And I
But
appreciate the time that you've taken to be here live. I appreciate the fact that you went there in front of State House. You dropped whatever you were doing. You're not being paid to do it. We
no,
expect those who are being paid to do these things to represent our interests. We expect those who have been elected or selected to represent our interests, that we're not seeing that for the most part, other than a couple Facebook lives, a couple Facebook comments. It doesn't do the trick. But if we
no.
turn now our television live on the east coast of Demerara, we'll find a lot of these elected officials on the opposition side marching down the street and nice loud music celebrating local government elections victory on the
Mr.
east coast
Benchop,
right now.
Mr.
I
Benchop,
mean,
sorry,
it's
but
okay
I
to celebrate, yes, but they got to have some sort of priority. But go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
sorry about that. And sorry for interrupting because
That's
what
okay.
I heard is happening today is troubling to me. And I'm telling you this, let's not forget that 20 of our children, 19 girls, were burned to death because of poor, very, very negligent behaviors. A girl is reporting to have been raped, sodomized as well by a member of parliament. Move the celebration then to Georgetown and make it a protest if possible. Because it doesn't seem as if we're sending the message to Guyana and to Irfan Ali and others that we are going to, as a people, demonstrate our intolerance for certain behaviors. How can you be celebrating today? Somebody said yesterday that she was, or the day before she was sodomized by Dharmlal. I mean, what was the processing in reference to this situation? What are we looking to achieve as a people? I'm not talking AFC or PNC. As a people, as Guyanese, what do we want our children to know? That it's okay for somebody to do certain things to you and then you're cornered because you have no support? The opposition should have been downtown, if you ask me, not celebrating but demonstrating today that Damlal should be before the officers answering questions. Monday, he should not show up in office because he should be out of a position. This is bothersome. It is disheartening to know that people can celebrate things in the midst of such dastardly, brazen, and destructive behaviors by parliamentarians. It is just sad.
What about the women's organizations, women's groups in the country, the WPO, the
Red Thread,
WYRSM, the WRSM, sorry, and other women's organizations? Unless I've missed it, I haven't seen any press conference from any women's group or press release. I haven't seen any, but what about their silence?
their silence is also concerning. But once I think a group called Red Thread, I don't know if it's a women's group, they said that they're going to be out at some point, or they're normally in support of such victims, and they're going to act when, I don't know. But the women's group, I don't know what has caused them to be so silent, apart from the normal term, which is they don't want to be victimized, they don't want to be discriminated against, they don't want anybody to take spite on them, as Ghanaians would say. So the slothfulness of their responses is also bothersome to me, because this is a female, and more than anything, as they are female members of parliament, they're female cabinet ministers who, yet again, like with Chanda's situation, when Damlal also said that a woman needs a dildo, when O.C. Rogers slapped a woman and it's on camera being caught on a video, when Barry, I think it is, Ramsup, said that the woman should be stripped and slapped. All these things are happening, and the women in the PPP are not saying a word. The women's organizations in Guyana are very slothful over the recent past to come forward in action. I thought that today the streets of Georgetown, and even yesterday, would have been filled with women because they don't play. And they would have been out in various organizations representing the cause of someone who's a minor. But what do we see from them? In this case, I guess they're calling a statement of flashing a statement of some sort, framing something to release tomorrow in the Sunday news.
Let's go to the east coast of Demerara right now for a couple of minutes. and see the celebration that's going on there. Again, nothing is wrong with the celebration, but we must also have priority that the party should have organized at least 100 persons to go in front of State House or go in front of wherever Darren Lal is. There is the leader of the opposition there.
There he is.
The big leader. Before take a bus.
Let me see your name, son. Show me your name. Let's see it. Let me see it. Let me see you. How we have a grand time. All night tonight. All night tonight. All night tonight. We will have a grand time. All night tonight. All night tomorrow. All night. We will have a grand time.
All night tonight. All night tonight. All night tonight. We will have a fine time. All night tonight. All night tomorrow.
Mr. London, happening now, live. Nothing in front of State House. Nothing
Is that
in front of Darren Lal's office. Nothing in front of where Darren Lal lives. Nothing at all. Priority, priority. Celebration is good. Don't get me wrong. I don't want that, but the nation needs better at this time. Allegations, serious allegations. We have seen it. We have heard what's happening with this little girl. Nothing at all other than just a simple press statement. I don't know. Speak, please, Mr. London, please, because
this
sometimes when we
has
speak, people say, shut up, and you're jealous, and you're this, and you're that, and people got to sport up, people got to celebrate. I don't know, priority. Priority. Why couldn't
I
they,
don't
why couldn't they
normally
just walk in front of State House now?
exactly.
I don't know. Go ahead, sir. Sorry about that.
I don't. It's okay. I don't normally use scripture in speaking on your broadcast because people think I just speak as a preacher. But I need to at this time. There's a time for everything. There's a time. There's a time for things, and there's a time to be angry, and there's a time to refrain from being angry. There's a time when Guyana must send a statement, and if you believe in good governance, the opposition should utilize this major opportunity to galvanize people because they're on the road now. To say, let us take this down to Darmlad's residence or to State House in the vicinity, to let them know that we, even to Evelary, to let them know that we're registering as a group, a protest to say that we, because of how the indigenous community, because we're going to add Madi to this, we're going to add other places to this, we're going to even add the Karasabai situation. We're going to say that this is not the first time children were killed in a dorm. So let us register publicly as a body our feelings. They could have said that. And I know they will galvanize even some support from PPP, not necessarily physically. But person would say, now Aubrey Norton's acting as if he understands what this country is all about. Because celebration requires timing, Mr. Benchchop. Priority, as you said, is a very important term. What is Aubrey Norton's priority? I came from Linden. I know that he follows me in certain groups together. Why could he not present himself? You don't have to stand with me, but stand to say that today is not going to go by without my registering as the leader of the opposition, the official leader. My concern, he's on the East Coast, dancing as if this child's situation is not that important. Then on Monday, of course, he's going to wear another face because tomorrow they won't be anywhere. So on Monday, he's going to wear another face to say that he's concerned about the girl. What in that behavior shows concern about this child or the 20 who died in Mahdia?
All right. Some may argue that he has his political work to do as well, but standing up for the rights of child or children in the country is also serious political work, serious concerns. I understand.
A noble task.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand, and I see. I see some people are a very few, one or two are justifying the celebration. And again, we are not saying we're against the celebration. If there are people who want to enjoy the momentum, yes. But we should have seen some of these very people also in front of GCOM. GCOM has been silent. GCOM has been doing a lot of questionable stuff. GCOM has been granting the PPP recount. They have been denying the coalition. GCOM has done some questionable acts in terms of these tie in Madhya, tie in Bartika, tie
Baltica.
in other areas, and the chairman is voting all these manner of things in favor of the PPP. We would want to see that sort of celebration, to so to speak, numbers of people in front of GCOM. We're not against celebration. We're not against people. At least I'm not against people taking a little Guinness, a quick beer, and enjoying the moment.
Right, right.
Priority, priority. As we look to
Priority.
wrap up tonight's program, I know you've had a busy day, sir.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Hopefully, we go out of our homes, out of our offices, and out of our places of comfort to let every young lady in Guyana know, and to some extent young men because they may be abused too, that you are going to be the adult with the voice that speaks on their behalf. Hence, if there's any other young lady who wants to come forward to say that Dharamlal or anybody else, even from up north, wherever you are, would have done these things to them, that there are voices and there are faces who be prepared to step forward and defend your right. Let us move from being in to being out. There are enough Facebook broadcasts and TikTok, whatever else you have to do. It's time for us to remove ourselves from places of comfort and be on the roadways and on the byways and highways, making our presence felt. We cannot go back to being a people who believe that making statements and strategizing is going to work in Guyana. We have to be present, and we have to therefore make our presence felt in a manner that Ali and Jagdio would know that Guyanese are prepared to live and to die for their rights.
Well, sir, thank you so much, Apostle Nigel London. Appreciate it. Appreciate the fact that you took time out of your busy schedule to travel all the way to Georgetown. You're not an elected official. You're not being paid by taxpayers. You're just a businessman doing your thing. And you have decided to step in where a lot of the officials, especially, we can't expect these things from the rigged, the installed party that has rigged its way into office to stand up for the rights of citizens. But we do expect our elected officials in the opposition to do the same in a more meaning and impactful manner, not just issuing a little press release or doing a quick Facebook live, and go out and express your emotions in the streets as well.
Correct.
It's more impactful that way. That's just my opinion, mind you. I noticed some of the people and their excuses, a few people and their excuses, that the celebration was planned and this was planned, and we going down the same road again. All these silly excuses, but it's okay. They're entitled to their opinions, but we need to get, or those who are in the opposition, the leadership, they need to get their priorities straight. They should have already had one, maybe two press conferences already on the matter. Simple as that.
Correct.
But thank you so much, Mr. London. Appreciate your time.
You're most
sir.
welcome. Thanks you and your viewers. I'm certainly grateful. Do well.
And you have an address. You have an event tomorrow. We wish you success at that, sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do well.
Okay.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right, Nigel London there for you guys. And where do we go? Probably we'll have to wait until Monday now, when some members of the opposition have a protest in front of Dharamlal's office starting at 12 o'clock. And it's just for 1 hour. Go out there, 12 o'clock, 1 hour until Monday. And meanwhile, everything just continues as usual. I don't know. I just don't know what to say, what else to say, right? But and thank you guys for listening. Let me just quickly, before I go though, let me just quickly say that, again, repeat what I said earlier, that allegations of another a rape incident at the Gafour's business place, where it is alleged that a senior staff member, very senior staff member of Gafour's, allegedly raped a staff member. that there was also a report made at the Rumvelt police station. The incident reached as far as in the office of the major crime unit, headed by this guy, Caesar, who is no stranger to controversies. Now, the question is being posed right here on 107.1 FM whether allegations that a rape took place and that it was reported to the police station and in the hands of the major crime unit, it was discontinued. If it is accurate, then I'd need for the police force to say whether it was discontinued and why it was discontinued, assuming that the information that is in our possession, information, mind you, is accurate. It came from several sources, some of whom are law enforcement officers. So that's just all I'm asking for now. It's in the hands of the major crime unit head, Mr. Caesar, to respond to you guys or the acting commissioner of police. But for now, that's all I will put out there for now. Thank you all. It's Saturday. It's almost 7 o'clock. If there's any need for me to be back tomorrow, I will be back tomorrow. For now, the people, regardless of what the situation is, whether the young lady doesn't want to cooperate, Dharamlal should be removed from office with immediate effect. The citizens, majority of the citizens of Guyana no longer have confidence in Dharamlal as a minister, as an official of the government, the so-called government. I have noticed that they are PPP supporters. They're not coming out in their numbers, and they're swiftly trying to find excuses, all manner of excuses. And when people make excuses for these serious crimes, sometimes you have to wonder. But we'll see where it goes. Definitely, this is not going to be swept under the rug. You guys have whatever is remaining. Enjoy your night. Tomorrow is Father's Day for those good fathers. Good fathers. Enjoy your Father's Day. Enjoy it all. And for those mothers who play the role of fathers, enjoy that day as well. Because a lot of fathers run away from their responsibilities. They run very, very far from their responsibilities. But I'm not here to judge or condemn anybody. But I'm just here to say tomorrow is Father's Day. At least we are remembered, right? At least we are remembered. Happy Father's Day to all of you, fathers who are watching this program. God bless you. Pray for our nation and pray for that little girl. Pray for her. In my opinion, the PPP is using her like a political football. This is not the first time we're hearing that Dharamlal has used this excuse. His phone is lost. So he's not going to answer anyone who's calling him. He's not going to answer because his phone is lost. I've heard that before. His phone is now lost. And therefore, the defense is somebody found his phone and did all of that stuff. What a silly, stupid defense. Dharamlal has to go. Pray for that little girl. Pray for her family. Her mother works under Dharamlal's ministry. Understand what's going on here. Poor family. They're taken advantage of. And it's sad. Very, very sad. Shame on Irfan Ali. Shame on Jack Dio. Shame on Priya Manik Chand. Shame on them. All right. Sorry about that. Just reading some of your comments. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the rest of it. That is.